Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. One of my favorite places to go in the Valley, and they came on as a sponsor. Yanni's been on the podcast before. He's had me up there from tastings. I've had everything from the chicken fingers, which are made from scratch, all the way up to the brand new pasta flights. The pasta flights are trending. They are flying off the shelves. It's insane that they can even keep up. I met the chef over there. Legit, no joke stuff going on. They use clean ingredients, real food, fresh food. It is family owned, family operated. It is very fast and furious. If you go to their online website, it is right here. You can get all this information. You can order there. You can place pickup orders. You can have delivery on certain days, and the hours of operation are on there as well. Please go check them out. I am not just saying this. They are a legit force to be reckoned with in the Valley. That's Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. Luke Delmeyer knives, handcrafted, handmade knives. I use mine every time we go to the pop-ups, and it is ridiculous. It is just something special. There's something different. It's handcrafted. It's handmade. Luke has grown since we started the show to now, where he is pumping out knives and classes. I want to push his classes. If you go to lukedelmeyer.com, it has all the information for the classes, and you get to take a 2-day course, and you go over everything from safety on how to use it. You're selecting the knife handles out, and you're really from top to bottom getting to go through the whole experience. Where else can you find that in the Valley? Luke is a very special person to the show. He's really cool. We've done projects together. We have apparel we're doing together. I really want you to go check it out. If you're interested in anything, handcrafted stuff, working class stuff, blue collar stuff, like this is the area you need to go to. But it's lukedelmeyer.com, Luke Delmeyer, handcrafted knives. Sign up for those classes, those courses. Go check that out. It's really cool. It's a 2-day event, and you get to experience making your own knife, and then you take your knife home with you. And you're going to take home a little bit more than that. So check out Luke Delmeyer, friend of the show. Always awesome watching him grow. LukeDelmeyer.com. MindleafCBD.com. Mindleaf. Easton Zone, Mindleaf CBD. I didn't know a lot about CBD till they became a sponsor and they started coming on the show a lot. And Liz is huge for, I learn something every time she comes on. They are over in College Hill in Easton. You can check out all their information on mindleafcbd.com. I believe you can order there, but go experience the store. Liz's mom works over there. Liz keeps bringing in products such as the honey flights. They have peanut butter, the infused pretzels. My favorite thing is the tinctures to go to sleep. I have problems sleeping, and these things put me out, and I have a little bit of lucid dreams riding a unicorn, and then I wake up back to normal, and then I get excited to do that again. So my big thing I use with them is the tinctures and the balm. The balm is another one. I use it for aches and pains on my knees, and my old man uses it for his arthritis. Mindleaf CBD. They are over in Easton on College Hill. Please go check the store out. Really cool space, and like I said, Liz's mom's over there, and they will help you with everything. It's awesome that they're super local, and I stand behind their CBD and everything that they got coming out of there. That's Mindleaf CBD, mindleafcbd.com. Eric K. Dowdle, defense attorney. We had him on the show, and what crazy stories this guy's had. He's helped a ton of people over the years, and if you're looking for help, he is your guy. You can contact them at 610-882-3000, and it's ekdefense.com. Do you have a pending court case? Do you have a court appearance and need a defense lawyer? Do you need proper representation? Felony, misdemeanor, drug offense, assault, homicide, DUI, traffic violation, appeals. Reach out to Eric. Check out the podcast we did with him as well. It has his whole story on there. If you need help, Eric is here to help you. He sponsors the show. We appreciate it. He's going to be doing a monthly thing with us. Eric will be a part of the family now. Thank you for sponsoring. Yeah. That's good. Can you hear good?
I hear just fine.
Yeah, that gives you a little bit more bass.
Bass to the tone.
Yeah, so we were at Mad Mex, and I just talked to the kid, and we got absolutely annihilated, and we came back with like a 4-pack.
Margaritas, though, or what was it?
No, they were doing, I don't know what they were doing with the Red Bull. I think we were doing shots, or it was like probably vodka Red Bulls.
Vodka Red Bulls, yeah.
So
that
we
was the
got
drink
these
back in the day.
glasses because they were giving them out because they just opened, and then they were introducing Red Bull, and we brought Red Bull back, and everyone was just like, "Roll!" Dude, it was
Go
crazy.
fucking crazy.
Dude, it was nuts. We got wild. Like we ended up
Off
like
the
it was like
Red
right when
Bull.
like Jackass and CKY came out. So
Yes, yo,
we
they
were-
don't- people
dude,
remember CKY.
Dude, we were
everybody
ju-
knows Jackass. They don't
we
know
were
CKY.
jumping off balconies into bushes and all
Yeah,
that shit.
I was doing
yeah.
on like fucking beds and shit like
Yeah.
that, dude. Like I was just going nuts, not caring because can't kill yourself. That's what the CKY
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I knew like it's fucking nuts. Back in the day, I used to like skateboard.
Yeah,
and-
that was the
and
only way you
ride.
knew it because Bam dropped the
Bam dropped the tapes, VHSs.
They were the VHS tapes, and then when they came to DVDs, there was
See-
a big hoopla because he like hit a sex scene inside the fucking DVD, and the only reason I knew about it is
Oh
because
shit! See, I didn't know about that.
because they didn't even have the internet back. Well, they
Yeah.
had it, but it wasn't the way it is now. So
No,
like back
no
then,
social media.
Yeah, it was like an Easter egg that was in there that showed his girlfriend naked, and the only reason I know is because some parent came in with their kid and was like yelling at the skate shop guy, and the skate shop guy's like, I didn't know what the hell this was.
Had no fucking clue that shit was in there hidden. Yeah, they were nuts, dude. That was before the Jackass, and yeah, it's how I started to figure out who them dudes were, and it was
Yeah.
only because I was a skateboarder.
Yeah.
I was a
And then-
skateboarder, and I was watching the fucking VHSs, and I'd watch Bam kill it, and I'm like, dude, this dude's a fucking idiot, but he could skate his ass off.
Yeah, it was fun because it was the first time it made. I mean, well, I grew up watching skate videos because we were just into it. And back then,
Yep.
you would go to the skate shop, they'd put out the new video, and then you'd buy like the Girl or the Goldfish tape, and then or like Trans World, or so it was always a thing where we'd like get it and then like sit around and watch it. When
Yeah.
that came out, it was like, dude, it was like people were calling each other, be like, this dude, because it was Ryan Dunn,
Ryan Dunn.
gets shit wiped on his face. Yeah, dude.
Yo, and then he tried.
Yeah, it was by Brandon DiCamillo was like, congratulations,
Congratulations.
and he wiped shit on his face, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ryan Dunn pisses on him.
Yeah. Ryan's. I remember Bam was like, "Yeah, just wipe like jelly on his face."
Yeah,
He's like, "Dude,
jelly?
fucking jelly."
He
Are you
just wiped shit on my face.
No, that's so funny.
Those tapes were good, man. 'cause
They were.
They came out with that one, and then they actually had an original one called Land Speed. Because I was obsessed with it because I liked the skating, but I was more into, they were throwing fake dummies off of bridges onto cars.
You were into the stunts. And
It
like
was
the
so
crazy
yeah. I
shenanigans
was
they
just
were
into. It was there was nothing like that.
No.
So then they did one called Land Speed, which was their older shit, and then
Okay.
eventually they did CKY2K.
That's the
which
one
is
I
the
know.
one with like Tony Hawk and like Bam runs over the Lamborghini and like all that shit. Yeah,
What's it called? And then what was it? The one that died? It's
Dunn.
Dunn, right?
Dunn,
Ryan
yeah,
Dunn,
Ryan
right?
Dunn, yeah.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Yeah,
man.
that was crazy. And
He-
what's
and
his
it was
face?
in his
He's
Lambo,
still
wasn't it?
fucked up. It was in his Porsche. He
Porsche.
was like obsessed with driving really fast.
real fast.
Yeah, because
He's
even in the
nuts.
Jackass stuff, they did like drag racing or Viva La Bam. Then it was crazy what actually came out of that.
Yeah.
Because it was like the CKY tapes. Then the Jackass guys were Big Brother, and then Big Brother and CKY combined, and then that's what made Jackass. And then they did the TV show on MTV,
On
and then
MTV,
Bam had like
boom.
3 TV shows. But yeah, I always loved the stunts. And then I saw the band wasn't bad either. I liked their first 2 albums probably.
Yeah,
but
my boy was into them really big time, man. My boy Mikey.
It was
when I started
genius
skating.
because I mean, what he did back then is essentially what people are doing now. Where like he played a soundtrack of a band. He added music to content.
Yeah.
So that's what is thriving right now because you can literally put videos and then take music and then like
Edit
the
it
reels.
in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like for those guys were so ahead of their time.
Hey, that's
So
exactly what I
ahead
was
of
going to
their
say.
time.
They were way beyond their time, and they were really ahead of the curve. And as much as people used to look at them like idiots, like, look at
That's
this
good.
stupid shit. They're pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Not too bad. EQ, Equilibrium out in New York, man. Those are the money ones, man. Yeah, they do it really well. We get taxed like a motherfucker out here to get them out here. But yeah, I got it at Tanzo's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grabbed that at Tanzo's because I was on my way over here, and I'm like, shit, I gotta have something, man. I gotta taste one with him, and I gotta give him a beer to go. So I went to Tanzo's real quick because I had no.
I
tire
appreciate
hands.
it.
Oh,
I usually have just High
High
Life here. I'm obsessed with High Life the entire summer. They're so fun to drink.
They're easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're easy. They
yeah,
go down smooth.
yeah.
You're trying to say.
I was always a big volume person, so like you can't drink. I mean, you can, but
you're-
you can't drink 13 of these.
No.
Like I can plow through
It's
like
not happening.
22 High Lifes and then like still talk to people.
Exactly. Yeah, you can still be coherent.
I really enjoy that because
And
I came from like playing beer softball with Keystone Lights.
Yes.
Like you need to like function, but you still want to get drunk. So
yeah, you want to get that buzz, and then at the same time, you're still able to function and be around everybody chilling and shit.
If the games went too long, it definitely went to a point where we weren't functioning. I don't care how many 35 light beers. You're like, whoa. I'm so glad you're back here, and we talk so much back and forth on Instagram.
Dude,
and
thank you for having me, man.
Of course. Thank you. Cheers.
Salud, brother.
Yeah.
Salud to that, man.
So I want to get into what I will cut for my first reel. Jake Paul. Jake Paul.
Here we go.
And I'll cut this early.
I love it. Right off the fucking rip. Let's go.
I'll cut this early and have it out here. What do you predict? Because you're very similar to me, and when I find people who are very similar to me, and then I'll go back to the question.
Of course.
I love talking to people who just enjoy watching any form of combat and competition. So I'll watch bare knuckle. I'll watch any. You can say whatever you want about Jake Paul. If all my friends are here and we're drinking and the lights are out and there is suspense, I'm in. So
yeah,
I don't have anything to say other than I'm excited to steal the Jake Paul fight.
I'm glad I'm watching for free. I'm glad I'm watching that shit for free. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think everybody does. So what do you... Jake Paul. So we'll start it over for the real.
So what's the thought?
Jake Paul. What do you? Because we went back and forth. What are your thoughts on it? Because you had an opinion with because they've sparred before, and now that this is very similar McGregor Mayweather. It seems like it's the same playbook, and it's loud too because ESPN's covering it. Everything's covering it already. What do you think about the Jake Paul fight? Not anything other than like what do you think about the competition between the two of them?
Of course, yeah. This fight coming up with Jake Paul, it's man. It's because he's fighting a real professional boxer. It's like making a statement that he's the real deal and he's fighting someone for real. And I like the approach of what he's trying to do. But the guy's coming off a knockout loss. They've sparred together before. And for me, it's kind of questionable where it's like I'm thinking either this dude's getting paid off or this dude's going to come and really try to take Jake's head off. And that's what I think I'm hoping for. And I think that's what a lot of real fighters and
it's the Mayweather effect. You're tuning in to watch him lose.
You're tuning in to watch. Yeah, it's so smart of him, and it's tuning in to watch him lose. And everybody that hates him wants to see him lose, but this guy's the real deal. I mean, he's a fucking legit like heavyweight coming down to cruiserweight. They spar together, got a bunch of rounds together. Sparring is way different than the actual fight. So we can have our rounds in the room, and you can be better than me, but on fight night, I show up. So it's either something where this guy's going to take a dive and get paid, or he's actually going to come and try to take Jake's head off.
I watched the presser because I'll go that deep.
I love the shit talk. I love the shit talk. I'm loving it.
In the presser, I didn't catch the vibe of a dive. With Woodley, you couldn't tell because his head's got sunglasses on. You can't read it. But that guy was there with his father. Yeah, throw those on. That guy was there with his father. And then...
It's him.
I'm gonna use that for the thumbnail.
Got to.
So that guy's there with his father, and I didn't realize that his father is a decorated boxer.
Yes.
And then he started really getting into like he was like, look, dude, he's like, you're talking all this shit. He's like, I basically came in and was like one-handed sparring you to get your confidence up to fight somebody who hasn't done anything. And then like that's when Jake's like, I'll release the tape. And then I was like, this is so McGregor and Paulie, and like how they were like, where they were like releasing the footage of him getting dropped in one instance. That was so fun.
It was.
That was so fun.
It was entertaining.
It was so fun to follow along. And then they went on the pressers and all that. I don't think there'll be anything ever like that again. And if it comes close, everybody will just compare it to what those two did.
Of course.
So it seemed to me like that guy didn't know, like Woodley knows what to do because he's been in media and UFC and stuff. So like if he's selling something, he knows a poker face. It seemed this guy does not have that poker face. And I really like that he kept bringing it down to like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
because he kept telling him, he's like, I'm here to ruin this man's facade of his career. And then what was interesting is he was like, y'all don't know what they're doing. He's like, I fight. What does he fight? Not heavyweight, but he fights
cruiserweight.
So it's above that. So they're making him come down, and then there's a rehydration clause in there. And then they also told him that he has absolutely no leverage on any of the money at all, and they have to take what is given to them. So he has to take the money and he's like, dude, I'm getting paid the least. Out of everybody he's fought, and he's the only one who's like actual. So when that stuff started coming out, I'm like, oh well, that's hard for this dude to like
take a dive
to kind of corner, and like he was like, here it is on presser one. So I was like, oh, there's definitely gonna be shit talking, but I was like, he kind of just put it out and aired Jake out immediately, and
I know.
So like that kind of took the dive aspect away from me, in my opinion. I feel like it was too real, and then like his dad's yelling and he's not even grabbing the mic, so you can tell like there's like a father-son heated thing where he's like really wants his kid, and then Paul's like, you know, kept telling him, he's like, you're gonna disappoint your dad, and I'm like, this motherfucker is like, because even Chael Sonnen came out and was like how psychological is that shit, where like he's putting that pressure on him, like, you beat me, I got beat by a boxer, and I don't know what they do with Jake Paul after that. He has to keep winning. Yes. He has to keep winning.
And that's the thing.
But he's like talking about fighting McGregor. I'm like, dude, I hope he does Diaz. I don't know if it'll ever happen. We can get into this too, but like the Diaz shit with him fucking locked up in the UFC, that's fucked up.
I know.
But I love that Helwani gave him that platform to make it super fucking loud. And then Dana, because I watched the presser after last week's pay-per-view, and they hammered him with Diaz stuff, and he's like, we didn't, you know, not a lot of that wasn't.
3 times in a year.
Yeah. And then immediately Diaz is like, hey, thanks for the kind words, cocksucker. He's like, let me out of my contract. So it'll be interesting, but I don't know what, because if he gets through this dude, then they legitimatize him. No matter what, they're gonna be like, oh. So then, you know, there's Anderson Silva.
Yes.
There's Nate Diaz on a massive fight, but that would probably be the only thing that maybe would come close to the Mayweather-McGregor shit, because now you're bringing UFC, and I don't even consider what he brings boxing.
He brings Showtime boxing.
Yeah, I mean, he brings it, but like his audience is not. Yeah. So like, and they're for entertainment, so they'll swallow that shit up, hook, line, and sinker.
And because they everybody knows Nate Diaz too. That's the biggest thing. Like a lot of times when people get into these fights, it's kind of like, who's this guy? Who's that?
Yeah.
But people know Nate Diaz. People know
his interview with Helwani was good. Did you watch that?
I didn't get to watch that interview. No, I want to check it out.
It's totally crazy, and like he's smoking weed the whole time, and like he'll just walk away in the middle of a question, and he picks his dog up.
Yeah, he don't.
He's like, look at my dog. I'm like, what is going on?
That's Nate.
And Helwani is so used to it. He's just like, well, whatever. So in that, he was like the best, and I don't know who's managing him or if this is just what he realizes, but he was like, the biggest thing I could do is leave the UFC right now. He's like, and the Helwani's like, what will you do? He goes, I'll box Jake Paul. He goes, I'll go after Gordon Ryan in jiu-jitsu. And he's like, I'll go into fucking kickboxing. He goes, I'll do anything other than this. And he goes, and I'll be back. He goes, I ain't bringing Conor McGregor. I always love when he says that. He goes, I ain't bringing Conor McGregor back to life. He goes, he goes, we should have done the trilogy already. And if we would have done that, he goes, he wouldn't have got choked out by Khabib, because he would have had to learn the defense fighting me a third time. And he's like, and that wouldn't have went that way. He goes, but he skipped the line, and that's what you get. And I was like, this dude's gangster as fuck. And it's true.
He's fucking honest.
It's fucking dead on. And then so I was like, man, if he left and became even a bigger superstar, and then he was like, I'm not done with the UFC. He's like, I'll just be back. He goes, all these guys, they just keep losing and fighting each other. He goes, I'll come back when there's somebody new. He goes, I don't need to fight any of these guys. He goes, everybody that fights me ends up fighting for a title next. He's like, I'm over this shit. He's like, let me out. He said they were throwing like truckloads of money at him. He goes, probably not what Conor got paid, but he's like, in my last fight, I was the highest paid UFC fighter. I'm like, dude, that's nuts.
And honestly, somebody like him fucking deserves it. I mean, and you know what's crazy?
He's been around for forever, dude.
But that's what people are going to shit on me, and they're going to be like, well, their only argument is, look at his record. You know, look how many losses he has. All right, well, look who he's fought.
Yeah.
Look at his resume.
I've only really seen, and because he's fought for so long, the only person I've ever seen fuck him up was Josh Thompson. Josh Thompson ragdolled him and like beat the piss out of him.
Yeah.
That is the only person I know that beat the brakes off of him.
literally-
Anyone else, he's been in a dogfight. I could be wrong, and someone will be like, "Brr."
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, there's gonna be
from
that
my
moment,
memory of
"Brr."
watching a bazillion fucking fights, I don't really know. I mean, I guess Masvidal was fucking him up, but then it was
Exactly.
stopped by, cuts, and he's got a million of them. So
Yeah, that scar tissue.
he talks shit on Masvidal too. He's like, that motherfucker was ready to retire. He's like, I brought him back to life. Yeah, it's fun. I love when he says that shit.
I do. I just love how he just doesn't bite his tongue and he keeps it 100 and he just tells these people how it is. And a lot of people that don't like it, they respect it. And you're like, this dude's just calling it how it is.
Yeah.
And you got to respect the man because the man shows up to fight anybody.
He's just wearing sunglasses, smoking a fucking blunt.
Smoking J's.
He's just like,
chilling,
he's like,
dude.
and like, it's so cool because I think Helwani needs to be where he's at. I think if he was cool with the UFC, he wouldn't be doing the shit he's doing.
No.
But which is funny because the UFC being pissed off at him and being the way they are just makes Helwani say, fuck it, I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want because you don't fuck with me.
Nah, you don't.
So I'm just going to give everybody a fucking platform to speak freely.
Yes.
And there's no one who's not going to go on Helwani because it's too big.
It's way too big.
Yeah.
It's way too big, and it's something that these fighters can't miss out on.
Yeah.
It's so important for them to really voice themselves and get themselves that exposure. Hawani's that opportunity to give you that
Yeah.
exposure you need. And if
And
any
he's just
fighter,
a great. He
is a
even
great
from
interview.
before all the bullshit between him and Dana, which I guess all started from the Brock Lesnar bullshit where he did that tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
I always thought he was the best at doing it and just stuck out. And then just even like the back interviews when
Yeah,
he was
I
a
know.
fucking kid, like you know what I mean? Like
Dude.
it's like the same thing with Rogan. He always just stuck out as.
not
just
the podcast, but like
yeah,
just like
the
him being in
commentating and like everything he did, it was just
side.
like you can tell like he really enjoys it. It's cool now where they bring the fighters on. DC's out of his mind.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying and making comments about like some of the commentating from like Felder and like from DC and like people aren't liking it, but I think they're I think they're good.
Yeah.
I think they're good. Maybe DC sometimes is like out there and like kind of like just
I like it.
rambling.
DC reminds me of who
Rambling like some
Yeah.
basic like common shit. I guess it's not something where it's like people are like wanting to hear about the fight and sticking to the point.
But he's almost the color commentator at this point because Goldberg left. So after Goldie left, there wasn't really any. I don't know why they ever got rid of that other guy who looked like Joe Rogan. He was good too.
the baldhead guy.
That
He was
dude
in
was
Bellator.
great. Yeah.
I
And
remember
then
him from
Rogan had
Bellator.
him on the podcast. He was just as good as Rogan.
He is awesome.
But yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was like, shut up, DC. And I will say it a lot because if Khabib or wrestling starts, he's just like, nom, 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 nom.
Yep,
So,
gobbling that up.
Yes, but I was like, I mean, it's the same thing if you're not a Rogan fan and he talks jujitsu all the time. It's just what they know.
Yes.
But, like, even the last fight, like, DC's grabbing Felder and he's going, he's gonna beat him. So, like, he gives you the reaction of who would be sitting next to you. There's been so many times where I grabbed people next to me during
going nuts.
when we went to bare knuckle boxing and I saw a walk off KO. I'm shaking my friend next to me, standing up, going,
I know.
So it's like that's. I like that reaction. So the
Yes.
more
It's realistic.
the more I cut him slack, the less I hate it. And I don't mind Felder. Felder does a great job.
I think Felder does a great job too.
I don't really dislike anyone who commentates at all. I
what's
really
worse?
like
The
what's
boxing's worse.
Yeah,
The
boxing
boxing is-
commentary is
Honestly,
terrible.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
and it's something it's sad. Like you would think like the UFC people would be like kind of worse as far as commentating, not know how to call fights, and kind of like just be stuck on just regular common talk. But it seems like boxing, it's just like these fighters don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And it makes me like, fuck, like I wish I had a platform and a stage like some of these guys. Like if I was well known as a world champ, like damn man, I would have loved to do that shit. Like
Yeah,
I love
it's
calling
funny
fights.
'cause, like,
I love talking about fights.
You would be good at it. I know Zach's good at it because I've heard some of the MMA stuff he did, and I just interviewed Big J, and he crushes at that. So it's like,
Yeah.
how can you not find someone to commentate boxing correctly?
And it's hard, man. It's hard. I don't know why some of these boxers, they just I don't want to say they're not intelligent, but it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Or like they bring them on, or I don't know. I mean, maybe the UFC's when the fighters come on, they take it seriously because it's a paycheck. Where the boxers might already have way too much money, and they're just like,
That's true.
cool.
Yeah, but the one that does do
Because the
it,
guys try and cut careers out of it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
oh fuck yeah,
like what's his face? what the hell's his name? The bald guy. I can't think of his name. Anthony Smith.
Oh, yeah.
He seems to be already digging in deep.
Yes.
Dominic Cruz did that. But
deep.
anytime they're trying to do both, it never works out.
Yeah.
It never works
It's one
out.
or the other.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Rashad did it for a while.
Sugar
and that's when
Rashad.
he started going down.
He tried to go back to Eagle
Chiesa
FC.
right now is not doing great. And
Nope,
he's good at commentating.
He is good.
Yeah.
He is good. I do like Michael Chiesa.
Yeah.
I was shocked with him. I thought at first he was going to get real emotional and really not understand like how to interview these people.
Yeah.
Nah, Chiesa
he dresses well, too.
Yeah,
I like when
dude.
they dress well.
Hell yeah. You got to be sharp, brother. Hell yeah. And that's the one thing I would love, too. Like, you're on there. You're talking about what you love. You love watching the fights. You're a fan of the sport. And then you're fucking fresh to death. Sharp as hell, dude. Just chilling. Cage side, just talking these fights like that. Oh man, that shit would be awesome, man.
What's her face? She's from Nazareth. Megan O'Leary. She does fantastic.
Yeah,
And she always
went
looks
to Becca,
good.
didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the small fighter?
Joseph Benavidez.
Benavidez is the girl, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She came out of nowhere, and she just has that
Seriously.
such iconic black hair, and she crushes on
She
that
does.
stuff. And then
I think she came on the scene unexpectedly, and she killed it. Like as soon as she came on, she was direct, she was clear, she was flowing nice with the interview. She didn't sound
John Anik's
super
good
basic.
too.
John Anik, yeah, he's fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, he's funny as shit.
Yeah.
And there was this it's funny because I was because I'm cool with like Steamroller Frivola and a lot of the Long Island guys. I trained out there for a few years. So when I was out there and I got really close with Steamroller Frivola and I saw his story and Anik was coming to the gym with Buffer and they were talking shit. It was on his story and they were literally talking shit, going to each other like, yeah, we're about to go in here and we're about to kick each other's ass. And then Buffer starts going off and doing like his announcement, and now, you know what I mean? So
Buffer's cool too. The UFC's so. I just got done talking to my friend about this the other night. I never watched football. I watched it growing up. My parents were Dolphins fans, Dan Marino, and then there was I played a lot of Madden football on Genesis. So I followed the sport, but I never had a team and I never paid attention to the point I can sit here and talk UFC for 4 fucking hours straight.
I can talk all day.
Yeah, so I've never been in love with a sport to where I can tell you the announcers and all that, but I don't know if it's just me or if the UFC is different than everything else and it's its own unique thing, because there's so many different assets to it and because the fighters are solo fighters and it's not a team sport. I don't know if...
I think it's the characters.
Yeah.
I think it's the characters and the way that these people get to express their personality, where it's NFL and MLB, it's nope, you can't be yourself.
Yeah, and you don't really talk. None of them get to talk.
Nah,
basketball players, the stars get to talk, but it's not.
Yeah,
everybody gets one-on-one with the UFC stuff.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being a fighter, is that you get to really vocalize and really talk your shit and be who you are, even if it's your persona, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
you could put your character on screen and present it to the fans and to the viewers. Where it's NBA, you gotta watch out. I remember back in the day with Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant and Shaq, and everybody's it was a hip hop thing because predominantly the league is black, is minorities in the league, so it's you're gonna have a hip-hop culture in there, and they were nah, you gotta wear a suit and tie, and Iverson was fuck this, I'm wearing my do-rag and chain and my Iverson jersey with my Iverson sneakers on, I'm not wearing a suit. And that's where I think
I forgot they made them wear suits for a little bit.
Yeah, dude.
Is it still like that? Or
I don't think
I know some of the players do wear nice suits. You see it with the fighters now too.
They do fashion, yo. Yeah. So NBA players, when they do the pre-entry, so-and-so's walking in, they have their designer shit on.
Yeah, who's the one football player who was a quarterback? I can't think of the fucking goddamn team he played for. Was it Panthers he was on?
Oh, Killer Cam Newton.
Cam
Newton,
he knows
man.
come out
Fuck that. Crazy hats and feathers in him and shit.
Yeah.
Cam was the fucking man, dude.
You can't even hate on that because if he's fucking around, you know what I mean? Even if he's coming in there and he's look, I'm just gonna go to I would do shit like that. Be yo, I'm just showing up looking like Prince.
Yeah, dude, I was that way. I was that way as a fighter, dude. I was literally coming into these fights and I don't know, maybe I was kind of above the curve or I was starting the own trend, but I was an entertainer as a fighter.
Yeah.
So I was coming in flashy as hell. I was coming in suited up. I had shades on. I'd be fucking. I'm walking in the back, shades on, Gucci frames, and I'm suited up and I'm fresh as hell. And I was just trying to create that confidence and persona of I'm a flashy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm pretty as hell, but I'm gonna whoop your ass. Like I'm gonna come out here and
it's
beat your
fun.
ass.
I always
awesome.
love that. I liked the whole. I was a McGregor fan from day one. I remember watching.
I love the humble, hungry
yeah.
McGregor.
Yeah. I shared a clip from Ariel interviewed him, and he was talking about like how fucking broke he was and how he was fucking doing nothing.
Dude,
and when he came in the
story.
beginning, and then like I mean he like
I love the
the transition to him was so crazy. Like I remember he was like, Dana, give me the 50 G's,
baby.
And then after that, he showed up in the white
it.
suit. He had that white suit on,
Yes.
and he had his hair. It was
Fine
still
DC.
when he did the
Fine DC.
when he did the braids.
Not DC. I'm sorry. Dustin Diamond Poirier.
Yeah. So then after that fight, he came out and he's got the sunglasses and the
Yes.
suit on, and
Making
then that's
money.
when it was just
Boom.
boom, and then it just didn't stop. It was cool, like watching like his special treatment, and they were giving him like the fucking baller hotel rooms because they were
Yes.
like seeing the amount of money he was making, and
of course.
that's got to be crazy from the UFC's perspective to see someone go bigger. And then now you have to listen to them.
Yeah.
Like you have to listen to
Like
anything.
Dana.
Yeah, like
Dana has to be like.
I'm sure there's a back and forth, but at one point, I feel like before ESPN, he had control. It was one person who had control over the UFC. Like that never happened before.
No, as a fighter,
Never. Because like
you
they had
don't.
Chuck Liddell, but it was always like, well, Chuck Liddell and the UFC, where he was just like,
No.
pay me.
I run
Pay
this
me.
shit.
Yeah,
It's because of me.
Yeah.
You got these viewers.
And then
it's
even,
'cause of
like,
me, you got these seats filled the way
You
they
could
are.
see where
Pay-per-views.
when he threw the dolly and all that, how
I
out of
know.
control it was because they couldn't control him.
was
It's
fucking
crazy,
crazy,
dude. I
but-
mean, the same shit went on with John Jones. It just wasn't
but
public.
It was it was
Yeah.
like off scene.
Yeah.
So he was
'Cause
doing
when he
coke
fucked
and-
up last, they were saying like, and when they end up doing like what is it, the 50-50 or whatever's on ESPN. When
Yeah,
they,
yeah, 20,
yeah,
20,
whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
So when they do that, I think there's going to be a lot shown that he comes out about because they were saying like they had a law that the
Oh,
UFC
30
had.
for 30, that's what it is.
Yeah,
30
where
for
he
30, that's right.
where he did he would come to UFC and they would get him off the plane, they would take him to the UFC shit, and then as soon as it was over, his handlers had to put him back on the plane because he couldn't be allowed to stay in Vegas too long, and when he did,
because-
that's what shit happened with his
Yeah.
wife. Like, because they were,
They knew.
because Dana started letting shit out then, and he's just like, everybody knows John gets off the plane, John gets back on the plane. He goes, John's handler didn't put him back on the plane, and he goes, and this is
Nah,
what
he
happens
fucked
when
up.
John Jones is left in Las Vegas. And I was like,
Yeah.
what happened? They told you.
Yes.
I'm like, that guy had to be a menace behind the scenes. Them covering up all that shit when he got pulled out of that DC fight. You remember when he told DC and DC was crying in the back,
Yeah.
and they had to pull Anderson Silva in last minute? That shit was fucked up.
It was fucking crazy.
Everyone's always like, McGregor. Dude, John Jones is fucked up, man.
Yeah.
He's fucked up. McGregor was always public about it.
Yes.
He's like punching DJs, and I love
Yeah,
that.
he's
Like,
pumping he's punching DJs, he's
In
punching
Europe.
old dudes, he's punching old dudes at the bar and shit.
Yeah.
McGregor just don't give a fuck, and that's what's fucking hilarious
But you've
and great
been
about
friends
it.
with somebody who, like, I still
Oh
have
my
friends
God,
to
how
this
many
day
friends?
that if we go to a bar and somebody starts saying some stupid shit, I still get the feeling. I know he's a little bit more mature now, but like,
But he's ready.
I know that if that dude keeps talking, he's gonna get punched in the face. There isn't gonna be like a let's go outside. Like when
no.
people fight, it isn't a production beforehand. A fight breaks out.
Yes.
I learned that from hanging out with people who say they want to fight, and my friend who fought.
Yeah.
And those people are not fun to be at the bar, especially
No.
if you're on whiskey.
Yes.
So if McGregor's that type of dude,
He's just gonna fucking act.
Yeah.
He's not gonna think.
no.
No matter how fucking.
No.
No
You
matter
see him
the.
drinking the beer a lot more than the whiskey.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But
because
then what do you do? You create a whiskey that is now endless, and
Endless
then
amounts.
you're
It's
getting
yours.
millions and millions of dollars. You're on Lamborghini boats. Like you wouldn't just think that you could. At that point, everything you're doing is correct. So how wouldn't it be? Oh, I'm just gonna drink whiskey all day. Like, you know what I mean? Like it'd be wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
I'm just gonna fucking throw back this whiskey, crush my bottle, and just not give a fuck about life.
I saw a clip from
It's hard, man.
the Khabib presser, and then like you realize how fucking drunk he was in that
Yeah,
presser.
how fucking
when he
trash
was,
and lit.
he was
I know.
like, there was one point where Khabib was like, "I don't do this for the money," and McGregor starts going, meh, 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 meh. I was like, yo, he's toasted. And then Dana's sitting there because that was when they wouldn't let him have an audience because it was too wild. Remember the pressers were getting out of hand with Diaz throwing Monster Energy drinks.
Dude, I remember him and like Dylan Dennison, that whole
it was
crew.
Like gang stuff. They're like, what's up? McGregor's like,
Cholos,
I'll fight all you.
Cholos are ready, bro. And them Cholos aren't the one to fuck with.
No, I like that though because it was like McGregor is like the version of like the Irish hooligan, and then those guys were like the Cholos, and like they're both like those dudes, and then like they were like, let's fucking go now.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck this fight. I don't care anymore. I'm throwing this fucking water bottle up here. And I'm ready to fucking fight. Like I'm not here to waste no time. Like this ain't no. I don't care about this press conference. I'm for real. I'm ready to fight. And
I love it.
And that's the difference, man. Yeah, you gotta love that because that's the realism to it.
I like the way it turned into a sport now as well. I do respect what it's doing now.
Yeah, definitely. But
it's changed.
Oh, it's evolved.
They don't need the fighters anymore because ESPN pays for the pay-per-views, so you don't need your Brock Lesnar's, you don't need your Ronda Rousey's. It's leveled the field, and then now, like, if these guys don't agree to the money, they just get steamrolled. Cool. Hey, that guy's coming up. But I also like the guys who are doing it smart with, like, because somebody always figures it out. Like McGregor figured it out. Where now I feel like
he figured out the business.
Yeah, so I feel like Sugar Sean and Patty the Batty are figuring it out because they're like, cool. 7 fights, I get 10 grand a fight. Cool. I'm just gonna fight bottom of the barrel people, and then I'm just gonna keep highlight reeling these people. I'm gonna go get fucking
my brand.
I think Barstool paid Patty like over $200,000, or could be more. And Sugar's making. He said he's already made over $1 million outside between Twitch and everything. So it's like, well, now I have a worth. And then, like, now they're going to have to pay them.
Exactly. When they renegotiate their contract, it's something they can have leverage on.
Like, those guys, I feel like, are the new breed of, like, what's going to happen.
And that's the fucking crazy thing with fighting and mixed martial arts now. Because it's funny because I was just watching a training partner of mine who's fucking killing it at featherweight in the UFC, Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos just won his last fight in Long Island. He's 7-0 in New York right now. And he's a fucking beast at 145.
Who did he fight?
His last fight?
Yeah.
He just fought Valafane or Virafane. I don't know how to. I forget.
Yeah, Burgos. He looked good.
He looked really good.
Yeah.
Looked really good. He's going for submissions. Everybody knows him as a brawler, but the guy has, good grappling skills and good jiu-jitsu. He's a well-rounded, complete fighter, Shane. It's crazy, man. I used to love the training with him over the years, and he was a good training partner and somebody who was just really just like helpful and just wanted to like help you out. He's a good ass dude, like for real. So to see the evolution of MMA and seeing how the entertainment business is kind of taken over for these fighters, and now like these real fighters like Shane Burgos, it's like, shit, is he gonna get taken care of? Like, because he's talking about that was his last fight of his contract.
Yeah, I saw. He said he'd be stupid not to test waters. Then the other thing that I was talking to Big J about is how much money Bare Knuckles paying people.
It's why it's the only way I want to come back.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
like
bring
people,
me back.
People,
bring me back.
I said it on Jay's podcast, and it'll be back to back because his will go, then yours will go. I think bare knuckle boxing is going to be bigger than Bellator. I do.
Oh, it is.
It's already ramping up to be. I mean, I don't know what's going on because Bellator is allowing Michael Venom Page to come over and fight.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because Bellator, I think, is. Do they just not know that they're doing it wrong? Like, I never know when the fuck that's on, and I follow them on social media.
Yeah, I know.
And you never know when it's on, and then I'll see highlights, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is on.
Did this happen?
Oh, do I have to have Showtime? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
it was a dumb move.
Yeah, their marketing is fucking up right now.
It's terrible,
and it's something that is
bare knuckle will definitely pass them.
Oh, without a doubt.
They picked up like some Muay Thai guy, like a fucking I was like, oh, now they're like taking superstars that aren't not gonna want to go the long way to get into UFC, and they're just gonna start taking these motherfuckers and paying them fucking big money.
Feldman knows, man. Feldman knows. I mean, Feldman has the boxing experience himself. He grew up in a boxing family with his dad, and then he was being a boxer himself, and he knows the business in and out. He did MMA. He started local, promotions on the local scene.
Yeah.
And he just knows how to run a business. He's somebody who is business etiquette, and it's crazy because there's a lot of talk about him too, and they're talking about, he's making up all this shit about the money and how much he's paying these people. But if you're big and bring big names like this into your promotion, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, when they took Paige Yes. And I mean, I'm sure she wanted to get paid. And then when she did that, and then it was just like, oh shit, like she went over. Then I saw Pearl Gonzalez went over, and then I was like, that was a big snatch because she was gearing up to go to UFC.
Yeah, because she was in Bellator doing her thing, looking to make her way to UFC.
And then it's like it just seems like they're making and Chad Mendes is like he.
You know what's funny? I'll fucking fight him. Yo, call me, bare knuckle. Hey, if you want a local nobody, call me.
How do you get into bare knuckle?
Well, it's funny because I grew up, in the MMA with the matchmaker Nate Shook. I got matched up my first fight. Remember how I told you I did the guillotine in the last podcast? Guillotine.
Yeah.
The living room guillotine. Nate Shook was the matchmaker for this regional promotion at the time. And he got me matched up for that. And he saw who I was and he saw my buzz and he was like, oh, we got to build this guy up. He started like getting me shirts. He started looking for sponsors for me. But Nate Shook is their matchmaker. And then Dave Feldman, who I've known on the scene for MMA regional, he's brought me up in his XFE and he's brought me up in his different promotions and shit. And so I know these guys firsthand. Like I was brought up with them. They know who the fuck I am. They know who Ricky numero uno Nuno is. You know what I'm saying? So hey man, you know what's funny? I messaged Nate Shook. I messaged him a few times and I told him, I said, these 165ers, man, I don't see shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing all these people and you're bringing in these big names, but I'm not seeing anything fucking good. Like these guys aren't technical. They're brawlers.
Yeah.
And I don't see any skill. And I feel like, I don't know, man. It's the fighter in me that's like, yo, I see myself picking these dudes apart and knocking people out.
I like bare knuckle a lot.
I do too, man.
It was fun to go see live.
I can only imagine live, dude. I'd love to see one live.
They do it up at the Indian Casino. It's like a 4-hour drive.
You know what's funny? I got a question on that, and I wasn't even sure because they were like, so wait, where do they do bare knuckle? And I was like, it's all in the southern states. Like
they have to do it at Indian casinos because I think there's still no regulation on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the sanctioning bodies.
They're out there, and there's plenty of them. I mean, so if we wanted to go to one, it's like a 3-4 hour drive.
Okay,
was it not Wing Creek?
Was it casino or is it something?
It's a casino.
Okay,
yeah, it was bigger than the Sands. It was an actual. I don't consider the Sands a casino, especially after going to Vegas.
Well, no, of course not, dude. I literally live right over the bridge. Bro.
No, like I told.
Imagine how I fucking feel.
I got back from Vegas and I was like, why did they do this that way? What is this? Why is there no shows here? Why is there nothing here at all? It's just stand up and some bands. We get that fucking anywhere.
You can go to PP&L Center.
Yeah. So essentially, you're just a venue now, and you're not a fucking casino, and there's no shows taking in. There should be burlesque shows. Why is there nothing adult down there? It's just fucking bullshit. I don't want to get into that because I'll go for an hour.
Yeah,
we went up.
We'll go all day
we went
and
up,
spin off on that one.
Up north. I can't think of the fucking name. Mohegan Sun, maybe. So like, and it's an easy drive, but next time we started looking, I would go to Florida to watch that. I think there's one in Florida.
It's all about, for me, Tampa, Florida.
Well, then the next one they're doing is Michael Venom Page and Mike Perry. I mean, Mike Perry leaving. I feel Mike Perry was probably getting a solid paycheck from the UFC. Yeah. So, I mean, they probably, probably doubled his, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they had to because I feel like Mike was like kind of on... It sucks to say this, but he was kind of on the downside.
Yeah, and that's right. He assaulted some dude at like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, so he's beating up fucking people in the fucking bouncy ball room and shit.
Yeah, and then he's got like that the crazy girlfriend. Then he's got some new girlfriend who was cornering him.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember when he was fighting without a corner?
Yeah, I know. And that's the fucking...
I love Mike Perry.
And that's why you love him because he just don't give a fuck. He's ready to fight anybody.
Yeah.
And he don't act like he needs this special team behind him.
No.
He's just a real fighter.
Yeah.
And you respect that as a fighter that competes. You fucking love to watch it. He's kind of nuts. I mean, I feel like he's kind of fucking crazy.
He's totally insane.
He's totally insane. Yeah, I think he's totally fucked up.
But he was telling a story on like Theo Vaughn or somebody that like how his dad brought him up. His dad was the same way and used to get drunk. And he said like at one point, him and his dad fought the neighborhood that they lived in. They like lived in a cul-de-sac or whatever, and like they fought everybody in the neighborhood. But like his dad was like, "We're gonna do this."
This was him on Theo Vaughn.
It was Theo Vaughn or I think it was Theo Vaughn.
Okay, good.
He's been doing podcasts lately.
Theo's fucking funny.
So he sat down with Theo and did one, and I'll try and look it up.
I'm about to check it out because I want to see it.
It was
Theo's fucking hilarious.
And you just probably put in
With
Mike Perry podcast, yeah, because he's promoting the fight, so they have him going out doing media.
Yeah, and Theo is about the fights.
And Mike Perry really hasn't like sat down and has done like a long format media thing. So it's been very interesting to kind of see where all that crazy came from, and like if you're
That's
a
what I
kid
wanna know.
and your dad is like, come on son, we're gonna fight the neighborhood, and you're doing that because you think your dad's cool.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I know.
Like,
I know.
So, so you start seeing, so you start seeing like where he got into fighting and all that and stuff.
It's always good to hear the stories, man. It's always good to hear the stories of these fighters coming up and hearing their path to see why they became that. It's cool that you had me last time to kind of explain mine and give me like the opportunity to tell people as why I got into it and shit like that, because nobody knows.
No,
they literally just they see your post, they see people like celebrating you after your fight and shit, and they just see all the glitz and glamour. They don't see the path that led to that point.
No, not at all. I mean,
when you see that,
when I started bringing, I don't know who it was came on first.
Yeah, who was the fighter that came on? I mean,
it was one of the jiu-jitsu guys.
I mean, Jam and
from
Zach
Finishers.
Fighter, so.
I had Jamie on. I had
Oh yeah, Brian and Jamie.
But before them, I brought some. I don't know who was the first. I'm trying to think who came on.
I mean,
Renee was on before them.
I mean, but you had like Carmelo and you had.
Oh yeah, back in the day we had Carmelo, Mickey Gall, and that crew that they were running with.
Yeah,
it was like Chris
Fritalo.
Yep, it was, and then there was a younger kid. He used to dress slick all the time.
Okay,
he was the youngest one, but he always wore like a shirt and tie.
Oh shit. Ronnie, I think it was
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah. I don't know if any of those guys are still fighting.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, Ronnie was like doing a lot of moving around. I know he was in Florida for some time and he's making his ways around, but I don't think he's fighting anymore. He's a talented dude, talented kid.
Yeah,
talented kid.
He was young.
Super
it was a long
young.
time ago,
dude. He was super young. He started with us when he was like, I think like
we were just
18.
audio. Yeah, Carmelo leg kicked me, and then he was the first. Dude, that sucked. My leg was fucked up for like literally like 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks, and he didn't kick me as hard as he could.
Yeah,
that was scary because right before it, what's his name? I'm trying to think of the dude who used to own the gym over there that Carmelo was. Rodney. Right before he kicked me, Rodney was like, yeah, he's like, I was fucking around with him, and he kicked me, and he's like, it blew out my fucking knee. And he's like, I have to have surgery. And I'm standing there without insurance and sweatpants. And I'm like, wait, what?
Kick my leg.
What are you talking about? It was terrible.
This is what I'm going to go through.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like, I've always just been intrigued by the fighters. And then, back in the day, I would just interview Zach and JM. And then they just came on because they were running the Finishers podcast. Yeah. And then I would just bring them on as a duo. And then, Grace at the time was coming up. And then
Phenom.
And then I think I had Thor on. I just started picking guys out from the school that I ran into.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing that, I texted Zach and I was like, yo, this is like really cool. And it's a good way to do this. And it's refreshing to me because everybody has a story. Like Renee's story is so different than Thor's. Thor was like, working a job and wanted to leave it and open up the school, where Renee had different ideas of doing stuff. And then like he left schooling for shit. And it was cool to just go down all the different stories and stuff. What's it like for you to be back in having fighters now? Because you're doing stuff with Zach, right?
Yeah, me and Makovsky, man.
Yes, and I had him on.
Yeah, he's an intelligent dude, man.
So what's that like? Because the last time you were on, we were like pushing a lot of stuff you were doing, told your story, and then when you're out of here, it was like a couple months later, I follow both you guys, so I started seeing like you guys were in the ring with people, and I was like, oh shit, they're like, because I knew you guys were working with people to begin with, but I didn't know, because Zach Maslany always told me how hard it would be to get a fight around here.
Yes.
So you guys are having to actually take these girls that want, or anyone who wants to go out and
we're taking
fight outside of PA.
We're taking them all over. Honestly,
how did that come together?
Yeah, because what's funny? We started, oh my God. It was literally me and my boy Jake. We were training together the one day at the old school, and Artis saw me and
Artis came on too.
Yeah, Artis is fucking great. He's fucking hilarious. We always have a good time when we're linking up and going
him and
out.
his feet. His social media is so
all
wild.
about those feet, boy. You better chill with those feet.
I'll like be like going through shit, and it'll be like,
Oh, shit.
"Hey, I like Sonic the Hedgehog," and then the next picture is him, and he's like looking at the
Look at the
camera,
camera.
and he's like, "Any girls out there want me to suck on their toes?" And I'm like, "Yo, this dude's so wild." I'm like, we just went from Sonic the Hedgehog to sucking fucking toes. Then the next post is just normal, and I'm
Yes,
just like,
it's
I
all-
love,
it's-
but that's how my brain works.
Exactly. We're fucking all
yeah.
over the place,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. His
my
social
shit's
media is
all-
wild.
Yes. I fucking love it, though, man.
Yeah.
I love it because...
Yeah, he fought too.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's so talented, man. And I'm ready to get him back in the mix again. I tell him all the time.
Did you guys go out with him?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So who went out first? Was it Artis or one of the girls?
It was actually Johnny. Johnny was one of the first ones that, like,
Yeah.
you know what? And that story's even crazy because I literally recruited her literally because Yanni, I saw she had somebody posted something that she was fighting for Art of War. And I'm in the sparring room, and me as a coach mindset now, I'm watching these fighters, I'm watching the sparring, and I see nobody's coaching or watching Johnny. And I'm like, Yanni, who's in your corner for your fight? You got a fight coming up in a couple weeks. Who's here to watch you? She goes, nobody. I said, the fuck you talking about nobody? How you taking a fight representing finishers and nobody's in your corner? She's like, nah, I don't have anybody. She's like, yo, I try to, get it with people and they're, they got stuff going on. They can't do it. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, well, Yanni, I'm here. I'm like, Yanni, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you need to get ready for this fight, I'm going to help you get prepared and ready.
That's dope.
And that's how me and Makovsky linked up to help her out for the fight because literally there was nobody there for her. And she didn't know she was going to have her boxing coach go with her.
Now, was that the catalyst to kind of what's going on where the two of you were just kind of
Because
because once I saw that, then I just started kind of seeing you guys start
we're
doing
all blown up.
Yeah, it's just a timer. No woman's talking to me.
Yeah, nobody's I'm nobody important.
So when I started seeing it, it's like sometimes you can read through the social media where I was
Yes.
like, you guys went on the road and and then I just started kind of seeing all the different people you were taking to do different stuff. And then I started kind of seeing you guys were doing your classes at nights and stuff, and then it turned into a thing, and then I saw you guys brought the animal back in, and I was like,
I'm
I
bringing
could
it.
be reading it wrong, but it seems like that original fight that you went out with her is kind of snowballed and lit a fire on everybody's ass, and now Zach's taking a fight, and I was just like,
motivating.
yo,
It's
I'm like,
motivating.
yeah, because to see both of you guys, and then knowing that both of you guys have fought, it was cool to see you guys just so in the moment for them. So you guys went out for that fight then?
Yeah, so me and Makovsky went out and we helped Yanni out for that fight. It was, you know what, it was crazy because when she first started fighting, we're still kind of battling these whole COVID protocol shit. So we're going through all that. So it's crazy because I remember it just feels like yesterday I was on this podcast and now it's so much has changed since I was on here last. But we were going through the protocol still. I'm getting swabbed in my nose. My nose is getting raped and shit. And I had to go through these protocols for the fight. And we were there for her. And it just kind of lit a fire under everybody.
Yeah.
People saw her and they saw us together and they just saw the unity. They saw the hunger and passion that us fighters like Makovsky and myself know, and they felt it. And they just got so hyped and so motivated. So as soon as that fight happened, it was just it just clicked.
Yeah, because then who fought after that?
Because then it ended up becoming, I remember I think it was Yanni
Because you
first.
did one where there was two fighters on the card, wasn't there?
Yeah, because then we did another one where it was Yanni and Artist. Yeah, Yanni and Artist. Yanni and Artist. Those two together. And that
So
was
Yanni
for
turned
Maverick.
it around and fought right away again.
She fought a month or two later.
Yeah.
She turned around and went and got another fight. The thing is, it's I have these relationships with these local promotions, so I've been in contact and network with them this whole time because it's funny because the fighters will go with me. I'm going to, because I'm there for them. I'm going to be there for their weigh-ins. I'm going to be there as moral support. I have rehydration recovery agents for them. So I'm really there for them as a coach and, just a former fighter. So when I go to these weigh-ins, my fighters, the people that are with me, they get to see the years that I put into these promotions, because they fucking love me and they want to see me. They always ask me, they're like, damn, Rick, like how many times are they gonna ask you want to fight again?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like it's over, like my time's up.
Unless you're bare knuckle.
Unless it's bare knuckle, baby. These heavy hands is ready to throw, baby. They ready. But but yeah, like when they see the love and recognition I get from these promotions, they're like, holy shit, like coach, like Rick, like what'd you do? And I'm like, I fought my ass off.
Yeah.
I literally I fought on my shield. I fought my ass off. And anytime you see me fight, win or lose, you're always gonna see a hard-nosed, entertaining fight. And these fighters now, I get to bring them up and tell them, and I get to give them the opportunities and good things for them with these promotions because they respect me. So it started with Yanni. Then I got Yanni and Artis. And then we even did a kickboxing bout. We did a kickboxing bout with Matthew Santos. We went out to, oh my God, that was a fucking story. We drove out to Long Island, New York for Matt Santos's fight. It's called Flex Promotion. So me and Makovsky take the trip out there, and I warned him. Makovsky, I fucking warned you. I told him, I said, if we leave in the afternoon, we're gonna be sitting in traffic at least 3 hours trying to get to the fucking place. It took us like 4 hours or so to get there.
To get where?
To get to Long Island, New York. Where it should have been like 2.5.
I never went to Long Island before, and I thought it was just the city.
Yeah.
And I bought tickets to go to a comedy show, and it was in Long Island.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine went, and then we went through the city, and then we still had like another hour drive. And he's like, bro, you said this was in New York. And I'm like, well, it's in Long Island. And he's like, dude, he's like, I don't even know if I would have agreed to that. And then like the ride home, it was like we hit traffic, so it was like
on the way
what
back.
I thought it was like an hour and 45-minute drive. I thought it was going to be like I'm going to Brooklyn. And then it was like 3-4 hours.
Yeah,
and then on the way home, it was longer. And then I was just like, fuck going to Long Island.
Yeah.
So you guys left late?
Yeah, we left in the afternoon because Makovsky's in fight camp, and he was training. So I warned him. I told him, I said, Makovsky, like, I understand you got to get a workout, do your thing. He thought, yeah, the fight's not till like 6 or 7. We leave at like 1 o'clock. We got plenty of time. I said, you're leaving in the afternoon. You're playing with fire, brother.
Did you leave without him earlier?
No, I went.
You guys all went
we
together?
went together. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not doing this separate trip. It's a 2-3 hour trip without traffic.
A lot. Yeah.
Without traffic.
Yeah.
So I warned him. I said, we're gonna get caught in some shit on a Friday. It was on a
Friday.
It was on a Friday, dude.
Yeah.
Not even like a weekend. It was on a Friday.
Yeah. It's not like Tuesday.
No, dude. No, it's a Friday.
That sucks.
It was a shit show, and it took us like 4 some hours just to get there.
So you're there at 5.
So we get there. It's probably around like 5 o'clock, going on 6. And it's like, I get there, it's like, I got to wrap his hands.
Yeah,
hurry
that's
up.
got to be stress on him, too.
It was. Yeah, he was burnt the fuck out. And, you know, he fought whatever. And, you know, I'm happy for Matt. He fought his ass off. He really went out of his comfort to do kickboxing because he's a big-time grappler. So we wanted to get him out of his comfort zone. And he fought really well, so he lost a tough decision. But he fought really well. And we even hung out after. So like we're chilling with Matt and Dati, his wife, and we're hanging out, we're sipping a few, but I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, you know, we gotta drive like 2 hours, 3 hours right now to get back. And I knew he was tired. And I'm like, Makovsky, if you want, you know, let me know, I'll help you drive. He was like, no, I'll be all right. And I was like, okay, don't tell me that. So so I'm in the passenger seat, at least sleeping for like an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this. I was shot.
Yeah.
And he drove us home like a champ, man. But the drive home was way better because it was at nighttime.
Yeah.
Nighttime,
no, but if you don't know what
out.
you're getting into with that,
I warned him, man.
That sucks. That happened to me with that comedy show, and I haven't been back since. No, I double check. I double check
Long
my
Island.
New York. I'll go to Long Island again.
Long Island's
but like,
cool as shit.
But like, if I know I'm going there. Like, I thought I was going to New York. I'm going into the city.
No,
I'm like, I
dude.
go down there with Kevin. It'll probably be by Canal Street, an hour 20.
No, dude.
Yeah.
You got to think about that city
No,
traffic.
I look now because like Thursday I'm going to Brooklyn. We're going down to pizza school. They have an oven, and we're looking at buying an oven. So we're taking bagel dough and we're doing a test kit. Like, he has the oven that we want to buy. He sells them for the business, so we want to make sure the oven's all right.
Yeah, you got it.
But I
Check,
told
make sure
Gina, I'm like,
everything's good.
one, because we traveled to Connecticut, and she was like, we need to get back for my dog. I said, one, figure your fucking dog out because we're eating.
Yes.
We're eating, and
That's a
we're in
given.
Brooklyn. All right.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're going to
eating
eat.
good.
So yeah, because then like he told,
yeah.
so like I got to be down there by 12. So I told him, I was like, I said I'm gonna probably leave around. I want to miss the morning traffic, so I'll probably leave around like 9. Get down there a little early, and then just be like he told us, he's like, hey, if you get down there early, like I look like there's a bagel spot, like I'm already like looking on the map, like what's
You gotta
around
map
there.
shit out.
Yeah.
You gotta map shit out, dude.
Yeah,
You gotta
and then I
prep.
saw it
You
was
gotta
like by
prepare.
Chinatown, and I'm just like, oh, I love Chinatown, because a friend of mine took me through Chinatown. I'm like, yo, Chinatown's so different than the rest of fucking New York. It's like
is,
clean and fucking like
Yes.
it's weird. It's weird that it's in New York, and then Little Italy's by there. Like I'm starting to learn it. Like I
You get the
really
different cultures in
I can
fucking New
understand
York.
why people live or are obsessed with New York.
Yeah, you gotta just love the different cultures that are there.
Yeah,
man.
and I do.
And
Like, there's so much.
diversity, man.
I'll get so much out of that. Like I love
Different than
taking
Pittsburgh,
pictures. So like
different
when I
than
go into New
Philly.
York, it's like I love like the hip hop graffiti vibe to it, and
Oh,
like
I love that.
I love the way the city is.
It's why I was there as a teenager. And
That must have been wild.
Yeah, I used to be out there breakdancing, man.
Yeah,
I was
doggy.
I was a big time breakdancer, man. So like sometimes you'll see it like it's
When
funny.
you're out with Preet dancing.
Yeah, yo.
I gotta get Preet back on here.
Yeah, Priest's funny as
Yeah.
shit, man. We have a good time because he enjoys the IPAs too. He enjoys the
I
IPAs
want to bring him on
too,
and talk to him about his culture and when he went out to that wedding.
Yeah,
and when
I know.
that
had to be a crazy
yes,
story.
Yeah.
That should look.
I was like,
fucking
bro,
awesome.
if that was my culture, I'd be dressed like that every day. Every
damn
day.
day,
Every
bro.
day.
Every damn day, dude.
Women
Fresh.
would just think he's exotic.
Yeah, for real.
Yo, who's this guy who owns oil?
Yeah. Who's this guy with all this money, bro? He's looking sharp as hell right now.
Yeah. I told him, I was like,
That'd
dude,
be a
I
dope-ass
texted
story.
him when I see people enjoying themselves like that, like that's a trip that Preet will forever be a
Dude,
part of Preet. So I'm like,
always gotta remember
I'm
that.
like, take it in, dude. And then I was just like, yo, this wedding, like, I can't believe weddings aren't like that. That was fucking insane. All the shit that he went through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just the
there's so
culture
many
and to see
awesome
how they
people
do
over
it.
at Finishers or just in that community to
Yeah,
pick
the
through.
fighter
And then like
jiu-jitsu community is
just even picking off Big J, like that was fun. And then like I was able to hang with him on that. And then that gave me confidence to start trying to pick other people just out of different jiu-jitsu schools. And then like now I really want to like, I really enjoy pushing it and giving people a platform and talking about it. Now I covered the fighting and stuff because I wanted to get into that.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you get into real estate? Because that actually is what I think came out first when
Yeah.
you left. Because then you were
know.
like, because you were doing like your training and all that
Yes.
stuff, and then I
Yep.
was like, oh, all right. So then I was paying attention to what you were doing more because you kind of explained some things that I didn't understand that you were doing with your
Yeah.
fitness and all that. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, that's
Yeah,
dope
you
that you're
found
doing
out
that.
I'm doing multiple things.
Yeah, so then when you brought real estate into it, I was like, damn. And like real estate, I feel like is such a useful tool if you actually accomplish the goal of doing it.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of people who are like, I'm going to be a real estate agent. And then they get to like the books and they're like, no, I'm not doing
Screw
this.
this. This
So
sucks.
for you to do that, it's just an added thing. Because there's so many assets to it where you could buy a gym, you can get into finding property,
Yes.
you can get into helping people find property. There's
Yes.
always, and if you're working with clients and people all the time, I know how it is with the podcast is we're like, you know, everybody who walks through this door is potentially a client, a customer,
Yep.
or anything. So
Yep,
like,
exactly.
it really isn't a bad thing to have
No.
in your back pocket. Is that something you've always been interested in? Have you always been good with numbers? Why'd you get into real estate?
I'm good with numbers, but I was never into real estate. It was funny because a cousin of mine, he was out with me the one night. We were literally at a bar kicking it. We were at Soto Santi's. It was probably after one of my fight camps. And he was like calling me the mayor. He was like, yo, he's like, who the fuck are you? Like, everybody comes up to you. Everybody's talking to you. Why are you not in real estate? And I said, I'm not a fucking salesman. Like, I don't sell shit. I am who I am. People love me for who I don't know. I guess my personality, how I carry myself, I don't fucking know. But people respect and respond to what I say. And he was like, yo, you got to get into this, Rick. He's like, there's so much money to be made and it's something you can be really good at. And I blew him off. I said, I'm a fighter. I don't sell shit. Fuck this. And I forgot about it. And then when we were going through like this whole pandemic shit, I was getting into starting my business and I started it. And, you know, shit was cool. But I'm like, damn, man, I need more. Like, I don't want to go back to working a job.
Yeah.
I want to focus on my business, but it's not enough. So I was like, why do I not get into real estate? When I started like studying and started analyzing like successful people, they're all in real estate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna.
And it's always the move after you have money.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't come from money. So for me, it's like if I get into real estate and I build my portfolio and I build all my networking I have from my fighting and from who I am as a person, like what I've developed over these years, it's like, why can't I transition that into real estate? So it's the reason I made the jump into it. So I went through the whole process of taking the 8-week course, took the exam a bunch of fucking times. And now that I passed, I got with an agency with Iron Valley Real Estate at Lehigh Valley. And a friend of mine I went to high school with, Kyle Kirschman, he was like really big on like helping me out. He was like, Rick, he's like, let's fucking do this. Like, you got it. Like, you have the potential of really doing well in this. Just come with me and I'll help you out. So I linked up with him. I'm probably like a few months in now, and I'm on my first close in August. August 1st is my first close, so I'm so fucking hyped for that one. Like I'm ready to like party for that one because it's my first one, you know. So.
Yeah, I have a friend who just made the jump to real estate.
Yeah,
and we were at the bar, and I was talking to her, and she left like a pretty serious job at. A
lot of people do.
Like it's funny because like people always tell you they're like get into a job or working for the township. Yeah. But if you just get into the township without trying, and then you're there for a while. The nostalgia of riding it out till
what 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I could never do that. I could never do that. I could have been handed something, and I have friends who my buddy worked for the Bridge Commission, and he got in early, and like I look at how much time he has, and he's probably dwindling down on retiring soon, and he's still young.
Yeah, I know people.
Or he could ride it out. Or my brother, for example,
think about military people that are in police and armed forces.
My sister-in-law's brother. He started out at the prison when he was 20.
As a CO, like a corrections?
So like he was, like probably corrections and all that. And then he just retired at 41. 41 years. And I'm like, I'm 42. And I'm like,
I'm knocking on the door. I'm 36, 37.
Man, why didn't anyone tell me that I could have worked a job? Like, because if you get in that young, for me now, I would never be able to be like, hey, ride this out till you're 65.
No.
Never be able to do it.
Yeah.
I was never the one. I
thought about firemen. I thought about police.
If I got paid, I don't know. He probably got paid well. It was a way different time, and he probably got out right before it's going to be about really annoying to work for the prison.
It is.
But like I was talking to him, and I'm like, man, you have your whole life ahead of you. You're 40.
Yes.
You're 40. So, I mean, unless you get into something like that and stick it out. But I never been able to. But she left the township, and she closed on her first house, and I'm like, how was the commission? She's like, it's awesome. You got to hustle it and go after it. But that's huge for you.
I'm nonstop
where it's
hustling.
like you're going to close on that, and that's going to be so much extra money on top of what you're doing already.
Yes.
And then like you can float in between and put the work in, and it's not something that you have to be sitting at a desk at every day.
Yeah, it's it's like we were talking about when you had me on with the anchors. It's like, hey, you know, I have my business, I have my brand I'm building, but this added real estate is just to add on to what I'm building with this. So it can get to the point where I have my own small facility. I have people running it. I don't have to be there 24/7.
Yeah, because you can build a business off of it that way as well.
Exactly.
Where you can almost start a firm.
Yes.
And then now you have people underneath you, and then you're taking a percentage of what they're selling,
Exactly.
but you built
that's
them
kind of
up.
like that's like what my team leader does. He does the same thing with us and his team. You know, every sale that we get, a percentage goes to him.
Yeah.
So it's a smart thing to do, and it's something that I eventually am thinking about. But I'm thinking about not only with the real estate, but then with my grit, wellness, and development. It's like I already have people in the works. We talked about this last time. I'm thinking about the dream team, like of people that I can have work with me. They can work under me. They can run the gym, and I don't have to be here. So the winter months, like we were just talking before we got on, I have the winter months where I have a place in Florida. I'm down there chilling.
In Florida. I know people who went down there and are
killing it. My one friend I went to high school with, she's killing
it.
Melissa, she's killing it down there. I used to work with her at Perkins. We were like, it's funny. We were 16 years old, fucking young high school kids working at Perkins, and now she's down in Florida. I never been to Jacksonville. I never been to the Jacksonville area.
I want to start checking out Florida because I do want to go there.
I want to check all parts because I've been to all southern east parts. So I've been on like Tampa, Delray, Boca Raton, Boynton Beach, Coconut Creek, Miami. Like I've been that area, but I want kind of like the coast side. So I want to see Sarasota. I want to see up north in Jacksonville. So yeah, I want to see all of Florida, dude.
I want to check it out. Oh, I mean, I told my buddy, I was like, and I don't care what anyone says, because some people are like, Florida, and I'm like, that's where I'm going.
Yeah,
I don't care. That's where I'm going. I don't care.
Yes.
Like, I don't care what you say. That's a plane ride where I can go to a part of Florida where there's lizards, palm trees, and I'll be left alone.
Yeah. You're not fucking with me, dude. I'm on that ocean breeze.
And I was like, dude,
chilling.
I'll go. Because like, what's funny is like, my parents watch House Hunters, so like, I'll go up there and we'll eat dinner, and like they put on House Hunters. So they'll put on like House Hunters, Florida or whatever, or like the beach homes, and then I start seeing these houses, and like, you know, I'm looking at them, and I'm like saying to because I've already went out looking at houses, and I'll say to my mom, be like, yo, I'd be able to afford that. I'll say, well, why don't I do that? I say, I don't got kids. I don't got anything like that. I need
no attachments.
No anchors.
No anchors. Exactly. No anchors, motherfucker.
So my mom's like, yeah, you could. And then the one was like this really dope. It was basically like a small airplane hangar that was converted into a house, and it was such a fucking bizarre layout, but I have the know-how to be like, oh, well, I would gut this, gut that, gut this, and then the people got it for next to nothing because the people, they didn't fucking want it, and then, like, they just wanted out of the property, and then, like, yeah, there's the risk. They're the risk for storms, but like I said to my mom, I'm like, I could go get something smaller than that and pay half the money and Airbnb it and just get the fuck out of this area anytime I want to. Then if I want to go on vacation and we want to shut the restaurant down for a week, I could just go there. Or the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks is another place where I want to eventually.
I've never been, but I've heard.
Dude, it's dope.
I heard it's a great time.
It's dope. There's nothing to do, so you have to do nothing.
You're on the beach and you have like these big ass like rental homes with a pool at it.
Yeah.
You're right on the beach.
We usually do like right off it because the stuff right on the beach is totally crazy. But then like, you know, I told them, I said, I do have a time when I want to get to a point where we don't question how much that beach house is. Like, cause like people try and get rich. I just want to be.
No, I want to be able to.
I want to be able to be like, hey, let's rent that house, and then the group of people going down, we're not questioning the money.
No.
We just pay for it. That's where I want to be. Not,
I know.
You know, I don't need a Ferrari. I just want to be at a point where I don't have to think about money. Like, I know there's money in there. Someone's handling my money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And then be like, cool. Like, I have that going on. Like, I'm gonna go down
I have
there.
these investments. I have these investments where I'm able to really just see my money grow.
Yeah.
And just understand that I don't have this concern anymore of worrying about how much do I need for this, how much do I need for that. Oh, I gotta work this many hours to get this.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Grinding the hours on top of the grind, of the grind for money.
Yeah, and for
it's
me,
tough.
yeah, but like me and you, like we were just talking before we got even on here. We're talking about our grind, like how we're nonstop. But you know what? It doesn't feel like a grind to me.
No,
I'm not going
anymore.
I'm not going to check into anybody.
No,
like I don't have to go and worry about this supervisor, this scumbag boss like watching over me. Like,
or you come in and somebody's just ruining your.
I grind for myself, and I grind because I love what I do. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at in life. And it's been cool, man. It's been such a hustle.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch all the different stuff you're doing. Because then when I saw you were getting into real estate, I was like, man, what the fuck? Because I was like, man, what a good thing to have. Because even if you don't, if like you could do real estate for a couple of years, and then even if you don't do it anymore, you have the knowledge on like, okay, hey, I'm going to get into buying this building, and then I'm going to put my gym in the bottom. But then because I know how to buy this at a great price, and I know how to figure all this out, then I can rent the apartments upstairs, and like you don't have to pay somebody to fucking do all that work for you. Like there's a lot of you can cut. Having a real estate license and then getting into serious business is a really fucking good thing to have.
And that's the idea for me. Like I'm not. All right, so right now I'm going through the whole process and learning and developing as an agent, which is what I want to learn because I get to really understand how this process works. You know, understanding these properties, understanding the contracts and the paperwork and the clauses, just all the different shit that comes with real estate. So for me, it's me growing through this growth process and learning curve to really branch off and just be like, you know what? I made this much money as being an agent. Fuck being an agent. I can just be an investor now. And I can have so many properties lined up where I don't have to worry about, oh, well, I got to sell this house this month and I got to worry about how much I'm doing this month. It's like, I don't give a fuck because I invested my money into this property, that property, that property. And having
a bunch of different avenues. Like I didn't realize it till like because I had to do it
off.
with this, where it's like, all right, well I can make this much money off of this, make this much money off of this. But then when now I have all these businesses brought up, and they're running correctly, I'm like, oh well, I can make this much money off apparel. I can make this much money off the sponsors. Then I have this much money coming in on renting the studio, and then I have my coffee shop over here, and then I'm like, man, this was so much smarter to have all these avenues of cash instead of just being all in on one thing and being like, I need more sponsors. I need more sponsors. Like sponsors are not easy to fucking get, and especially if you want to build an actual relationship and not just lie to somebody and take their money. Like you have to get shit done for them. So like
you can bullshit, but it only lasts a while.
So it's like I want returning customers where like I've only really ever had one person walk away from the sponsorship just because they didn't think it was a good fit, but everyone else I've had since day one. So it's like to me that's huge.
Rapport.
So in order to do that, you can't be fucking. I need to be doing other shit besides that because you need to take time off of that. It's like I mentally got to be like, okay, well I don't want to, because once you start selling too much into something, then you're just like, it's just rinse, repeat, and it's just like, I take breaks off of everything where it's like right now it's like I'm going to take a break from podcasting for a month because I have that ability, but like I need to stop fucking interviewing people to get better at interviewing people because I've been doing it too much in a row where it's just turning into like when I got back from Vegas,
you got to take
the
back
first
and
interview
breathe.
I did back from Vegas. It was so much better than how it was before I left because I was like, oh, I needed to refill that. So like now I just like go from here to here to here to here and I just kind of slowly start building it up.
Yeah. And we all need that. We all need that moment where we can step back and reapproach what we're doing. If I just constantly work at this 24/7, I noticed like even like with me being a fighter and I was constantly grinding, training, building for a fight, training this fight. Okay, I'm going right into a next one. I never really got to look back and just see some of the mistakes and the things I was doing wrong because you're constantly on a grind and you're not seeing the growth and what you're doing wrong. So I think it's important to kind of like recharge, like take a step back, see what you're doing, get your time away from it. It's funny. It's something I explain to fighters because as I'm training them and I'm getting them ready for fights right now, there's a lot of times like Jamie's my one guy where it's like he's a big mental person. Like he needs to feel confident and know everything. And me as a good coach, I got to remind him, Jamie, like take a step back, dude. Breathe. Like be with your family, be with your kids. Like really.
He has a fight coming up, doesn't he?
He's fighting, August 6th.
It's right around the corner. Where's he fighting
I'll be shouting that out. August 6th is going down. Yeah, he's fighting at Split Rock Resort with Yanni Rosario. Yeah, Yanni's fighting for a title. Jesse Romano, the Romano bros, not the motherfucker. He's the one to watch out for. Jesse Romano, he's a beast. They used to have mullets. They don't have mullets no more, but the mullet bros, they were fucking badass. So it's Jesse Romano, Johnny Rosario, and Jamie. Obviously, we got Jamie on the card too. So the thing is, like, I'm so happy that I'm able to get him one because it's probably his last one, like, with us. He's making the move. He's making a transition he's getting, like, restationed to Florida. So he bought a house in Florida and everything. Yeah, so he's making the move. So I'm so happy and I'm so blessed.
He'll actually be in front of actual palm trees now instead of at the pool.
Exactly. Not like a made-up pool at his house or wherever they're at doing it.
The Y or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, whatever they're doing.
His kid's fun.
His kid's awesome. And you know what? It's so cool. Like, they've been doing, like, interviews for them.
When's he leave?
That's a great question.
I'll have to hit him up. I'll bring him in.
Hit him up.
After his fight.
I don't know the exact date. Yeah, bring him on after the fight, man. It'd be cool if we do like a multiple one with the fighters and shit.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking badass.
Yeah,
bring like us and the fighters on and talk shit. You know, me, Makovsky, and the fighters and stuff, just to get all our perspectives on shit. Yanni's dope too, man. Yeah, you got to get her, man.
Yeah, 100%. Anybody you ever want to funnel through here, just let me know.
Yo, she's the future, man. I don't know how this nickname came about. Maybe it happened when she was growing up, but they're calling her Born the Brawl.
Yeah.
And she's fucking Born the Brawl, bro.
That's cool.
She's badass, dude.
I started seeing the spark, and I know Zach's been trying to figure it out for a while, and I know the commission and PA's tough, and he's got a million things going on at the school, but he's really been wanting to push the MMA for a while.
We're gonna bring it back. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, he said. And then you have too many guys, because now you almost have. not 50-50, but like, you know, seeing the like artists,
Dude,
Jamie,
there's a
like you
fight
have
team.
you yes.
There's
so like
literally a fight team.
No,
and
I
there's
see when you
jiu-jitsu at the
and then
school.
now with Heckman coming back, I
I'm bringing him.
do want to interview Heckman. I've been wanting to interview him when he was MMA, but I would love to interview him for the MMA story and then him building the business he has outside of it now. Yeah,
he's crushing it, dude.
Yeah.
He's crushing it. He's another reason I got into real estate too. He was always trying to get me. He was always trying to
He's
get me to
smart.
be an investor. Oh, he is smart.
Yeah.
He is super smart.
Yeah.
He is such a savvy business, like charismatic person. Like he'll
I'm
go
sure
out,
he learned a lot from being one of the first guys in the area to be that fucking big.
that big, dude. Yeah, he literally did it off his wrestling. Like
Yeah.
he literally did it off his wrestling, and he came to us.
Where
and
did he wrestle out of?
I think he was
Was
at.
it Nazareth or Northampton or?
No, he was Bangor.
Bangor?
Yeah, he was Bangor. Yeah, and then he ended up going to Bloom. I think he went to Bloomsburg. He went somewhere first, and then went to Bloomsburg. I forget.
I'll have to reach out. There's
Yeah,
so many
reach out
people
to
that
him.
like. I mean, I asked to interview him when this was just audio.
Damn,
You know?
we're going back.
Yeah, and then like
That was him on his tear.
Thad Frick, I was going to
Thad-
have on here, but now
Thaddeus
I
Maximus.
want him back on because he's a state trooper.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. I make jokes at the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
Does he come back to the gym?
he
to train?
does. He
Yeah.
does. He does every so often.
You should get those officers in there to fucking work shit out too.
It's funny. I run the 10 a.m. class now over at Finishers. I do 10 a.m. like a striking kickboxing class, and one of the people that's in there, he's a police officer.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of work to do, but he's in there.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that. I love seeing the officers. I trained a bunch, and they're at the. I like seeing them at the gym because I feel like it's important for them as what they do and their job.
They should almost be
They are,
required.
it is,
Yeah.
but they always talk about the departments and like how they don't want to fund that, and they literally have to.
I'm
go
sure
out.
it's like everything else.
It's like everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody says this, then you actually get it. I mean, I was that way with the post office. Like when I was at the post office, it was like I thought it was one way, and then I got in there and I'm like, this is a dumpster fire.
It
It's
is.
an absolute dumpster fire.
Yes.
The post
Thrown
office
to
is
the
one of
pit.
the most fucked up jobs organizations. Like they're
Yeah.
still using mail trucks from like the 40s.
Yes.
Like, there was no heat, no air conditioning. They
nope.
were all-wheel drive. Like,
Sweating your ass off.
yeah, and then
Sweating your ass in the
I
summer.
was supposed to buy a vehicle to do their job. I'm like,
fuck you.
yeah, best thing I did was leave there.
I hear you.
I want to start wrapping up because I
Yeah.
don't want to keep you here all day, and
All
we can do
good.
this whenever you want.
Yeah.
We'll start. With,
I love coming on,
because if you ever
man.
want to come
You
back,
already
because when's the Jake Paul fight? September or August?
I feel it's August.
Yeah,
I feel it's August.
yeah. We'll do something after that, or if it starts getting heated up, I'll just we'll come in on the fly, and I'll just put it out.
Yeah,
early.
let me fucking know, dude.
Because there's sometimes where like I like hitting that like topical stuff. Because like if I had the time, I could edit this and have it up today. So we should like figure it out and like do one of these right before the Jake Paul fight,
Yes.
and then just like when it gets closer and
talk
the
shit.
pressers,
Let's talk shit. Let's talk
If we want to
shit.
bring somebody else on, but they have to be into it. I don't want any naysayers being like,
No, I don't want to hear that bullshit, dude.
No,
you got to be
no.
into it, man.
Yeah.
And even as much as I hate him, and much as like I hate him as his like personality and shit, I do understand what he does, and honestly I respect what he does for the fighters. Like
yeah. It's also totally crazy that like he could have done anything.
he could.
He could have done a podcast. He literally could have done anything. And he chose boxing, which
Yes.
is brilliant. Brilliant
Brutal.
in an aspect of like, oh, well, that's the most money you could probably make doing anything. And then it's like, all right, well, it's not going to be UFC. So it's like, I could kind of start having my own fights and then like build it up. And then like, he's got a plan. So it's like, as long as he keeps winning,
He is smart.
like, there's a lot of shit. And plus,
Maybe it's his team behind him, but he's
I believe he does play the fucking
Oh, he does.
obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
His hair, everything
Yes.
down to it. Like,
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know that's part of the sales pitch and the marketing. Like it's all part of that shit. The act is all part of it, and he knows how to do it well. He's got that experience from when he was big on YouTube.
Yeah.
he understands
Disney Channel,
YouTube.
crazy,
He
dude.
understands what works, right? And that's why, as much as I hate him, just because. I'm a real fighter, and it's like, you're making all this money. I'm a hater. But in reality, the motherfucker's smart, and he is a business intelligent person that knows how to put it together to make people buy in. If you make people buy in, anybody can do it.
Kool-Aid. Take the Kool-Aid, Jim
baby.
Jones.
Sip that shit up.
I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, we'll do this again when the Jake Paul fight gets closer. And
Yeah.
If it's just us, it's just us. If somebody else from the school wants to come on, they can come on.
Yeah, I'll keep me updated with that, and I'll make sure to let people know about it because I probably
pay attention to who you're bullshitting with at the school about
I will.
it. If anyone brings it up, and be like,
will.
yo, come on.
Yeah, I'll probably bring Yanni or somebody else
Yeah,
on. 'cause
anybody.
She's a big boxing. She's a big boxer first, so
Cool.
yeah, she'll fucking come on and we'll talk shit. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I'll give you a chance to plug all of your platforms where
Yeah.
you follow. Your social media is good. I love watching all the boxing stuff that you do. And then
Always.
now you're mixing it up with the real estate stuff. And I know how hard it is to kind of feed that algorithm. So it's nice that you have, you have your finishers content, you have the boxing content, and now you got that content. So I always love seeing when people figure shit out. But that algorithm needs to be fed regardless. So
It does. It does, brother.
Like I said, thank you for coming on. I'll give you a chance to plug everything.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, man. You already know, man. I'm back. Our Nuno 1 MMA. They were trying to hack your boy, but he's fucking back because they can't keep me down for that long. Yeah, so our Nuno 1 MMA on the social media. Hit me up for any real estate, questions, concerns, anything that you need as far as your real estate business. Let me know. Anything you need to buy, sell, I'm here for you. I work for Iron Valley Real Estate, Lehigh Valley. But look for me, Ricky Nuno. Anything on the social media accounts, our Nuno 1 MMA, Instagram, Twitter. If you're on the Snapchat, whatever, even all the stuff that's out right now. But it's our Nuno 1 MMA, Ricky Nuno. Hit me up for all your real estate needs. Hit me up for all your training needs. I do it all. I don't just hold boxing mitts. I do your nutrition. I do your, strength conditioning. I do it all, man. So just let me know if whenever you need any information and help on some certain things with real estate or training, let me know. My man, it was good to be on here sipping one of these during the day, man. It was nice.
It was good.
It was nice, brother.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for bringing that beer. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, it's neveragainstudio.com. That has everything that we have on it. It has the apparel. It has the YouTube. It has the audio. It has the video. If you don't want to stay on there, you can subscribe to the YouTube. We are getting closer to monetizing, so I'm excited for that. And then, neveragainstudio.com, Never Again Studio on Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, and I think Spotify is going to allow you to start putting the videos up. Once that comes over there, I'll be uploading most of the stuff over there and probably just clips on YouTube. Other than that, check out everything that Ricky's doing, and he's going to be back once this Jake Paul fight gets closer.
Yeah, we're talking that shit for Jake Paul, man.
Yeah,
the real
doggy.
fighters, baby. We ready.
That was fun.
Yo, thank you, brother.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.